Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuhu. Let's see, I'm putting this here. Hello, thank you, Layla Bell, for joining. Assalamu alaikum. May peace be upon you. Okay, now that I have that set up, how is everybody? Can you hear me good? Awesome. Layla, are you on my mailing list, and did you get the email about what this is about, or did you just see it on Periscope and get interested in the topic that way? Either way, glad to have you. And I'm just letting people connect. I see the numbers coming in. Okay, awesome. So I am a holistic health coach. I'm the founder of Wellness with Yasmin and MB Muslima magazine. I focus on women's health. So I do all things to help women live their best lives, mentally, spiritually, and physically. And for those of you who are joining me, who are on my mailing list, you know that back in December, on December 11th specifically, I sent out an email. And in that email, the title of that email was, How Do You Want to Feel? And I shared some personal stories that those of you who are familiar with me, might know of how at different times in my life when I wasn't necessarily happy with my life, how I turned that around and whatnot. And I asked you to reply to me and let me know how you wanted to feel. So I got a lot of responses to that. And I'm going to read to you, even if you didn't get that email, even if you don't know it, thank you for the hearts, by the way. I'm going to read to you some of the responses I got, because based on those responses, I developed 8 different keys to help us all, myself included. I am a big advocate to practice what I preach. So these are things I do myself. I'm not just going to tell you to do something that I'm not doing myself. But okay, so let us begin. Before I do, I just want to make a quick dua for those of you who are not familiar with what a dua is. That is a supplication. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Ya Allah, please guide us all. Ya Allah, allow this to be beneficial in this world and the next. Inshallah. Ameen. Ameen. Ya Rabbil Alameen. So I see we have quite a few people here, and I've only seen one person comment so far. Thank you again for that. The rest of you, I want to know where you're from. Are you from the US? If so, what state? Are you from different countries? I know that Wellness with Yasmin is an international community, alhamdulillah, so I want to know where everyone is from. So don't be shy. I know there's quite a few people on here. Let's see. Awesome. Atlanta. I have been to Atlanta once in my life, and it was, I went there back when I was in college for an East Zone conference, and it was nice. I liked it. Okay, so I'm going to begin, inshallah. Bismillah. So, like I said, I sent out an email to ask people what they wanted to feel in their life, and I'm going to read through the responses I got before we get into the 8 keys. And perhaps if you're here and joining me live, you're more than welcome to answer that question too and tell me, what do you want to feel in your life? So the first response was from someone named Perry, and I'm only going to share first names, not going to share locations because, of course, privacy is very important. So Perry said, Assalamu alaikum, sister. I hope this email finds you and your family well. It's always good to read your emails. Today I felt like replying for the first time, and it terrifies me to let others know my feelings. So as to answer your questions, I want to feel truly happy and be at peace with myself. Alhamdulillah, I have all my family around, and all are well, but I never felt close to any of them. I always felt like an outsider, so I want to feel happy at least once before I die. I don't really know what is stopping me. Most times I think it is my past and the secrets I have been keeping since I was 6 or 7, but too afraid to let go of. I just hope I could find enough courage to go back to school and not be a burden on anyone. Anyway, take care, sister. So thank you, Perry. I don't know if you're here live with us right now, but I know I personally replied to your email to tell you that this broadcast was happening. And whether you're here with us live or you are on the recording, thank you for sharing that with us. And perhaps someone listening could relate to what Perry shared with us. And a couple of things I want to point out. I'm going to maybe give like 2 or 3 feedback items for each specific thing that I read, but then I'm going to share the 8 keys that, the title of this broadcast is called, which the keys were all derived from, looking at the different things that people sent to me and finding the commonalities and then sharing tips on that from my own personal experience and whatnot. So thank you to everyone joining. Feel free to leave a comment. I do want to keep this interactive. I do have a lot of content to share with you today, a lot of valuable content, but feel free. And if you're shy and you don't want to leave a comment, you're more than welcome to send in hearts. I see some coming through. Okay, so one thing I want to say to you, Perry, is that you mentioned how it terrifies you just to even answer that email. And I think, not currently, but I could relate to that, many years ago. I know it was hard for me to share like deep things and whatnot, but what I could tell you is that it is not healthy to keep things inside of yourself that need to come out. And can anyone relate to that who's here live right now? I mean, it's just not. And many times when I do coaching work with women and whatnot, really expressing yourself is so important. So I'm not saying that you should go declare it to, the world and whatnot, but what you should do is find someone that you trust and share those things, right? And if you can't find someone that you trust, you can absolutely even journal it. That helps as well. And you said that you feel like an outsider all the time. If you're not familiar with Myers-Briggs, it's a personality test. You could take the test, a shorter version of the test online. I think the website is 16personalities.com. But anyone familiar with that? Anyone know their type, by the way? Anyone know their Myers-Briggs types? Sometimes some people, like, for instance, when I take that test and I know what personality I come out according to that test, it's a pretty rare personality, and it explains why many times in my life I've also felt like an outsider. So can anyone here relate to that? Okay. So keep listening, Perry, because the keys that I'm going to share with you are going to be helpful, God willing. So, and if I'm looking back and forth when I'm reading the emails, it's because I'm trying to make sure that I'm not missing any comments. Okay. So Nadia also sent an email, and she said, Assalamu alaikum. First of all, thank you for your time. May Allah reward you and your family. She says, where I want to be is where I was in one stage of my life. The happiest, peaceful time I ever had. That was a time that Allah, God, allowed me to taste the sweetness of Iman, faith, when I got out. I really can't tell exactly. I just lost it, and I can be anymore as happier and grateful as I was, and this is a struggle every day. Only when I achieve to get it back, I will be where I want to be. Can you help? Jazakumullahu khairan. So, Nadia, you are going to be very, very, very keen, I hope, on listening to my very first key, because that one is speaking to everyone who replied, but specifically you. I taught a class on emotions a couple months ago, and one of the concepts I talked about is about how we as human beings, we're never going to be exactly at the same point. We're sometimes going to have some high points. We're sometimes going to have some low points. Through habits and healthy habits, mentally, spiritually, physically, we can be really consistent, but we still have to understand that we're not always going to be at the top. So just knowing that is so important, and it's helpful. For those of you who follow me on Instagram, my username on there is the same exact username that I have here on Periscope. It is Yasmin Essa, YASMIN ESSA. And I shared something today about that concept too, about having like on and offs. Are you talking only for girls? No, I am not. I'm talking to everyone. So yeah, hope that answers your question. And thank you for joining us. Please leave some comments. So where are you coming from? You might mean like location. I am in New Jersey, if that is your question. So now we're going to go to what Hawa said. Hawa said, I want to be loved and respected as much as I deserve. That is, very, very, thank you so much for sharing that, Hawa. And the keys are really going to help you too, because you absolutely deserve that for sure. But one of the first things, and this isn't one of the keys, but something I want to share to you is wa alaikum assalam. Rishan, did I say that right? One of the things I want to share with you, Hawa, is that one of my favorite concepts is that you have to teach people how to treat you. So you're saying that you want to be loved and respected as much as you deserve. That is all fine and dandy, and you deserve that, and God willing, you will get that for sure. But it is so important first that you treat yourself that way, and then how people treat you will follow. Okay, so Shello said, right now I need a job. I'm 22 years old. I can't afford to go to college because I can't afford the fees and no one at home wants to help. I need peace in my life. I feel like I'm lost, like I don't belong. So Bacello, I know this is not the first time that you're emailing me. I do remember a couple of years back getting some emails from you and being in communication. And I'm so glad that you shared this as well, and that the tips are definitely going to help you as well. Hidayah said, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum Hamda, thank you for joining us. So Hidayah said, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuhu. I want to feel loved. She said, I want to marry a good, God-fearing Muslim. I'm not sure what to say about what's stopping me from getting it. All I know is that I am lonely. She says that I want to be loved by my family and by a husband. So thank you for sharing that, Hidayah, and those are normal human desires to crave love and connection and human connection. So I'm going to, and I love, by the way, I think you were the first person, let me see here if I'm mistaken, I think you were the first person, I didn't just ask you guys to email me back with how you want to feel, but I asked you to tell me what you think is stopping you, right? Hello, Zach Frenchy. You said, I'm a French guy and just want to ask you if you can briefly explain how college works in the USA. Absolutely, Zach. If you could just hold on 1 second. I'm going to go through, the content. I have some content on like how to achieve what you want to achieve in life. And then right after that, I'm going to go into Q&A. And I wrote this down in my notebook. You will be the first question I answer. Does that sound good? Okay. So, let me see here, and just have a few more, give me 1 second here, a few more emails I want to share that I received. So yeah, those are normal things. You're welcome, Zach. Those are just normal things that you're desiring, Hidayah, but first you got to make sure you're doing everything you can in your control. But yes, I didn't just ask you people to email me what was stopping you. Assalamu alaikum Asla, nice to see you here. But I asked you to email what's stopping you from getting what you want, and thank you for being the first person to answer that. Marlene said, thanks for asking how I am feeling. I am at a breaking point. I am afraid for myself. As you said, Yasmin, it may be the best place right now because there is nowhere else to go but up. I feel as though I have no fight left. She says that she's self-medicating every day but still managing to hold down her commitments. She says, I hate smiling when I want to cry. What next? I don't know. I'm stuck. I'm confused. But I do know I want some happiness. She says it's a big relief to talk. Marlene, you are so right on that. And I'm going to steal what you said to let Perry know that it is so therapeutic to talk. You really got to find someone you trust, and you got to talk to them. Marlene said she feels so alone. She said she's a strong person, but she's got lost along the way. She says she's 50 now, and she's been grieving over missed opportunities and confused and no longer wants to be untrue to herself. She says, maybe I'm going through a change. Who knows? I want to grow, Yasmin. I want to express myself on all levels. I want fulfillment. I want to stop beating myself up. I want to be grounded. Thanks again. So Marlene, these tips are going to help you get a jump start to what you want to do. How is it, by the way, for those of you who didn't send emails in, but you're here live? Are you enjoying, listening to what other people are saying? I have 3 more emails left to share, and then I'm going to get right into the tips, God willing. So Zayma says, I want to feel at peace and want to feel the love of God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with me at all times. I want to go back to school for my RN. She says what's stopping her is no good support system and not knowing where to start to get there. So that was Zayma. So thank you for sharing, Zayma. You have some awesome goals. Nurses are really, really, they do such amazing work. And I love that you also answered my question in regards to what's stopping you. Now, one thing I will say is that the first thing you said you have no support system. That is something external to you, right? And then you also said not knowing where to start. So inshallah, God willing, I'm sharing these tips with you very shortly, you're going to know exactly where to start. And you always want to focus on what you could do internally first before, you can't really bank on external stuff. Okay. And then Nasreen says, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, Yasmin. She says, I want to feel at peace and happy with everything, whatever is written for me in this life. She says, I want to be closer to Allah, God. She says, I want to be a better wife, daughter, and mom. She says that what's stopping her is laziness, tiredness, fear of what people will think, and lack of planning. So can anyone relate to that in terms of things that's stopping Nasreen? I really want to thank you, Nasreen, because and I'm going to share something about Nasreen as well, but you shared what's stopping you. You basically did tip number 3, which I'm going to share. I'm not going to share what it is right now. But you took, you were really honest. You said, you know what, I want this, but it's not happening because sometimes I'm just lazy. Or she said, sometimes she's just tired, or sometimes she just fears what people think. That is really important. Thank you so much for your comment. I don't know your name. Unassuming Smug is your username, though, but thank you. Okay, and what I will say is that Nasreen and I have actually done a good amount of one-on-one work together, alhamdulillah, so I'm glad to see that you're owning what's yours. And then the last email I got was from Noor, and she said, what I want to increase, Assalamu alaikum Hamoudi, what I want to increase is my connection to and reliance upon God. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I feel that because of the emotional upheaval of an abusive marriage, she says, I am not able to let go of the hurt and chaos and focus my attention where it should. Thank you so much for all of you that replied. You really helped me come up with these keys because there were a lot of similarities between all the things that you shared. Thank you, Layla, for inviting followers. So now, what I'm going to share with you are my tips. So number 1, the title of this Periscope is all about, keys to help you on the journey of fulfillment. So who here wants to be fulfilled? I mean, I'm sure everybody here wants to be fulfilled. We want to be fulfilled depending on what you believe. I know for myself, I believe that this world is a test, and then I believe in an afterlife as well. And so I want fulfillment in both things. That's what I personally want. It's going to be different for everyone, right? But how do we get there? So these are some keys that I've personally used in my life and continue to use in my life. And these have helped me overcome a lot of different things in my life and just thrive, So the first one is that you have to recognize that, the key number 1, you have to recognize that it's a journey, not a destination, right? So how many of you have ever had a goal? Anyone ever had a goal? If so, do you want to share with me what your goal has been? You could just type it right in the comments. But if you've ever had a goal, it's January 27th right now. I mean, depending on where you are in the world, I guess it could be January 28th in some places. But if you've had a goal, a lot of people set goals at the beginning of January, right? New Year's resolutions. When you have a goal, that is so important, to have a vision, to have a goal, someplace that you want to be. But you have to understand that it is a journey, not a destination. As human beings, we don't achieve happiness through achieving goals. We achieve happiness through progress, through feeling like we're doing better. So you always want to remember it's a journey, because things don't end at your goal. It's not a destination. Number 2, you want to make sure that you're saying no to victim mode. So it's awesome. All these people that reply to me, you are awesome because you're being open. You're declaring what it is you want to accomplish in your life, how it is you want to feel. Thank you to all of you for joining us. Assalamu alaikum, Mustafa. So that is really awesome. But there was, and I'm not going to name anyone specifically because, you can reflect and figure it out on your own, but you want to make sure you're not playing victim. You're not blaming someone else for where you are in life. You are taking ownership. And that brings us to tip number 3, which I love how Nasreen did. You want to own what's stopping you, right? So if you say you want to do something, but you don't do it, then there's a problem there, right? Number 4, you also want to open your eyes to all the blessings in your life. I don't care who you are and how little you have or how much you have. If you are living and breathing, you have something to be grateful for. And until we open our eyes up and have gratitude for the things that are around us, nothing that we achieve is going to make us happy. And sometimes that's hard to swallow, and sometimes you hear that and you're like, yeah, whatever. But it's the truth. And so, the 5th thing is you want to get support. Salaam alaikum. I think you're saying that you are from Turkey, Mustafa. Let's see, where are we? Okay, so you want to get support. That is so important. A lot of people in the emails that I read shared how they didn't really have support. You can always find support, especially now with the internet. You can find support. I mean, in-person support, there's nothing like that, but you can always find a way. And now you're connected to me as well, and I would love to support any of you. So please realize that. And like I said to one of the people that shared the emails, is that if you can't find support, if you can't find someone to talk to, journal. It's a beginning. Talk to God. Write it down. It's still therapeutic. And, pray, and, someone will be sent to you. I can promise you that. And that promise doesn't come from me. That promise comes from above. Okay. Number 6, you want to declare what it is you want to achieve. What is going to bring you fulfillment? So all these people that emailed me, they declared what they wanted out of their life. So if you're here listening, don't just be someone who's just listening. Leave a comment and declare, what are you trying to accomplish? What does fulfillment look like for you? And it's a journey. Thank you. Thank you for the positive feedback, for the hearts and the thumbs up and whatnot. And then the next one is you want to do work. So it's not just about declaring things, and it's not just about any of that. You have to do the work needed to get where you want to be in life. And number 7 is a really important way that you could do work. And it's a Tony Robbins concept. It's you have to turn your shoulds into musts. So let's say you want to get into shape. You tell yourself, I should work out this many times a week. Well, unless you do it, nothing's going to happen. Let's say that you want to get closer to God. You need to pray. You need to read scripture. You need to, surround yourself by people. If you're not doing that, it's not going to happen. Let's say that you want to achieve something career-wise. You have to do the things necessary to accomplish that. So you need to turn your shoulds into your musts. They have to be things that you do every day. And yes, you'll sometimes fall off board. That's okay, but that's what you got to do. And then let's see. And then the last one is that you want to relax. Assalamu alaikum to you too. You want to relax after you own everything and you you do the work that you need to do. You got to just relax and let things happen. Things take time, right? Assalamu alaikum. We got a lot of people here from Turkey. So those are my 8 tips for you. If you came in late, you can simply, go to the beginning and watch what you've missed. Now, Zach had a question, and I'm going to take a couple of questions and then wrap this up. Zach's question was about how college works in the U.S. So you're from France, from what I understand, Zach. What are you looking to study? So I could answer your question a little bit more specific. In terms of how college works in the U.S., it's pretty similar to how it works in other places. There's an application process. Not all schools are the same. You would go on the school's website. Okay, medicine. So, how old are you, Zach? Have you gone to college at all in France, or are you still in high school? Do you have any degrees? Because all that stuff matters. And I just want to give you a more specific answer. And while I'm waiting for his reply, if anyone else has any questions, please type them in now. I'm doing well, thank you. How are you? Okay. So I'm guessing is A level high school? I'm not totally familiar, although I did have an aunt who studied. She actually went and did her PhD in France. But if you wanted to study medicine, at least here in the U.S., you would first need a bachelor's degree. You'd need to go to college for 4 years and do like an undergraduate degree. So you could study. You don't even have to study a science in undergrad, but you need an undergrad degree, and it does help to study a science. And then you would then apply to medical schools. You would have to take something called the MCAT, which is what you take if you want to go to medical school. But I would say find schools that you are interested in. Now with the internet, it's so easy. Go to the websites that, for those schools. And Zach, are you familiar with a website called collegeboard.com? That is a great website to learn about schools in the U.S. It'll give you information about tuition and how things work. You're probably going to want to email the school and whatnot. Things might be a little bit different if you're coming in internationally, but that's great. It's so awesome that you are trying to figure that out at a young age, and I wish you the best. Assalamu alaikum to you, Akbar. So, unless anyone has any other questions, I'm going to be wrapping up. I'll give it a minute for any other questions. And, I'll be back on Periscope. I talk about inspirational things on here. I do some cooking demonstrations. I do a lot of different things. So, if you want to stay connected to me, I am on Instagram at Yasmin Essa, Yasmin. My website is Wellness with Yasmin. And, there's some awesome stuff on there as well. And I am at YouTube at MB Muslima. There's quite a few videos there as well. So thank you for those of you who joined live. There were a good amount of you. And make sure to subscribe, to follow me here on Periscope so you know what that is. And then one last question. Yasmin asks, what's your goal of making videos? Well, Yasmin, I am the founder of Wellness with Yasmin. And yes, I'll give a quick recap, Akbar. You can also rewind. So you could go back to the beginning. But I'll give a quick recap, and then you could just rewind and start at the beginning and hear all of it. Because I also shared some emails. But I'll give a quick recap. So Yasmin, I'm a holistic health coach, and I focus on women's health and helping them live their best life spiritually, mentally, physically. And, I use videos for a bunch of different reasons. I talk about Islam, which is my religion. I talk about holistic health, so how to live life naturally. And, my goal is to help others the same way that I do in my work. I work with clients one-on-one, and one of the ways that I help people who don't work with me one-on-one is through videos. And then, Akbar, I'll read to you the 8 keys, but then you're really going to want to rewind so you could get my commentary on each one. So the first one was that it's not a journey, it's a destination. When you have something you want to achieve in life, you got to realize that you're in it for the long haul. It's a journey, right? The second one is you want to say no to victim mode. You don't want to be a victim because you're never going to be fulfilled if you are playing victim mode. And if you go back to the beginning, I actually read a bunch of emails that people from my mailing list sent me, and you could kind of see how some people kind of fell into that category. And that's not a bad thing. We have to be honest about where we are to get to where we want to be. It's only a bad thing if no one ever changes anything about it. Number 3 is own what's stopping you. So when you read Nasreen's email that I included in the beginning, you'll see that she was really honest. She said that the reason she doesn't achieve certain things is because of laziness, tiredness. What else did she say? I can't remember the other one, but she was really honest. So you want to own what's stopping you. You want to open your eyes and be grateful to what you want, because no amount of extra achievement is going to help if you don't already appreciate what you've already done and what you already have. Number 5 was to get support. And, some people who shared emails with me shared how, they don't really have support. They don't really have anyone to talk to. Of course, in-person support from family and friends is the best way to go. But not everyone has that. If you don't, there's the internet. There are self-help books. There are videos. You could just journal. You can pray. There's so many things you could do to get support. Number 6 is to declare what it is you want to achieve. So again, you'll see in the emails that I read from people, they declared what they wanted. Hello there from Sweden. And then, let's see, and then actually doing the work. Declare to who? So you could declare it to someone who is close to you, to a friend. You could declare it in so many different ways. You could even just declare it to yourself on paper, but it is good to get social responsibility, to tell someone else, because then that is, going to kind of force you a little bit not to give in to your excuses. And people might follow up with you. If you have a friend, you could be like, hey, I really want to achieve this. Can you check in with me? Or maybe you could find out what they want, and the same. And for instance, I'm a coach, but I work with women. There's plenty of men's coaches and whatnot. Sometimes working with a coach, that's a great person you could declare things to, because they're actually trained to help you achieve those things. And then 7 was a Tony Robbins concept. He's one of my favorite inspirational speakers. He says, turn your shoulds into musts. So whatever you think you should be doing to get your goal, you want to turn them into musts, non-negotiables, things you do all the time. And then 8 is just to relax, to do what you got to do, and then to just relax and allow things to come to you. So anyway, thank you again for all of you who have been here. If you came in late or if you didn't hear anything, you can rewind and you can listen. Thank you again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. And hello and goodbye from Brazil, or to Brazil. Assalamu alaikum.